That was so kind. All right, what's up, everybody? I'm happy to see all of you too. This is too nice. I gotta be honest. This is too nice of a comedy club. Like, it was right in it's in a mall. There's like a Shake Shack next to it, and I'm like, oh, I have to like be ready. I was just gonna go on stage and have fun. This is like a professional. This is a little too much, quite honestly. I'm glad it's this size because it's not sold out. Like, if it was sold out, it would have been like, I can't do it. It's too new and fancy, and I can't do it. But this amount, we can do this on a Thursday. Like, no matter how it goes, we'll go get some Shake Shack after this, and we'll figure it out. It's nice to be here. It's my first time in your town. I'm pretty sure. I have to say that now, because that's happened. I was in Madison, Wisconsin, and I was like, oh, it's my first time here in Madison. And two people were like, no, it's not. You were here last year. And I fought them. I was like, no, I've never been here. And they had a photo of me with them. And they're like, it's in Matt. I was like, well, I'll be damned. Look at that. I am wrong. So I'm pretty sure I haven't been here. None of it's familiar. And this is I would remember this, I think. You know, like, I first of all, I haven't seen any of this. I don't know where that is. I don't think I've seen that part. I'm going to guess that's the city part. I'm more like near the campus where everyone's like, well, we want roundabouts. We want them everywhere. Like that. We're over there. It's very... You can tell that was a vote, you know? You can tell that. We gotta get the word out that these roundabouts more efficient in Europe, I'll tell you. And I'm like, is it? Because are they just different than us? Are they that different? I got lost so many times. It's so frustrating getting lost in a roundabout because you can see the thing that you want to do, and you're like, oh, no, all right. And I don't want to loop it, because that's the thing. If you miss it, you can loop it around, but everyone knows. Everyone knows you missed it, you know? And I'll be embarrassed to go in there and go, loop, loop. Oh, there we are, right over there. It's very nice. It's a beautiful, there's like a bell tower memorial. I'm at that hotel right there, right next to it. There's a big bell tower that looks cool. I don't know what the memorial's for. I could tell I got quiet, so I'm sure that... I'm going to guess that's something I should have Wikipedia'd. I apologize. I didn't know, all right? I still don't, but I'm assuming, based off your energy, shouldn't have said it. That makes it more morbid, because whatever that remembers, my hotel room looks right at it. So now I know it's something bad. So now before I go to bed, I'm going to close that curtain, going, something horrible happened right there. That's great. Let's go to sleep now. And yeah, I'm not. It's nice. I like it when I can walk to the comedy club from the hotel, because I got a rental car, but I don't have to use it. I can just walk over. I'm staying over by the big bell tower. That's where I'm staying at. The memorial bell tower that no one knows why is there. I only know that because I've been bringing it up to audiences. Did you hear that tepid laugh? So on Thursday, when I brought up that I'm next to the bell tower, I heard that, and I thought I just reminded everybody of a tragedy. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, should I have Googled that? I apologize. And people were like, and I was like, oh my God, I really should have Googled that. I am so sorry for bringing that up. That's not really how I want to start my show. And also, my hotel room overlooks it, so that's pretty horrible. Every night before going to bed, just closing the blinds, like something tragic happened right there, apparently. And I had two audiences, like Thursday's audience and Friday's early audience, of people I met after the show, and everyone came up to me like, yeah, we don't know why that bell tower is there. We don't know what it signifies. That's why we were quiet, because we were like, I don't know, do you know? I don't know. And I took that for, good God, he's bringing up our tragedy. And then finally, the last guy at the last show last night, he's like, you know what, this is stupid, I'm going to Google it. And he Googled it, he's like, World War I. It's a World War I memorial. And I'm like, and no one knows? I actually learned more about that bell tower in the hotel I'm staying at, because they had a sandwich board of handwritten Raleigh information And they said the bell tower was finished, it took 12 years to build, it finished in 1937, and they didn't put a bell in it until 2021. I've never related to a town more than after reading that information right there. I am the king of starting projects and not finishing them. You guys held out for almost 100 years. You guys built it, and then you're like, man, that's how much bells cost? What? Seriously? They got one in Philly. It's broken. How much was that one? So funny. I can tell. I'm like, yep, shouldn't have said that. You know, I don't research towns before I show up. I like to just come in blind and then ask dumb questions, and then have people go, "You're not even close. You're not." I was in Greensboro, North Carolina yesterday. Is that where you guys are from? Yeah, you're from there? Yeah, that's where I was. I was at a comedy club over there, and so I made the drive out here. But it was pretty nice, you know, nice and 50, you know. You guys have cop cars that aren't regular cop cars. They just kind of sneak up, going, hey, hey, hey. And you're like, no, I was doing it, you know. Because I'm not a good driver anyway. I weave. I don't know how to do, like, especially with new cars. New cars correct you. And I've never realized how bad I've been until every time I get in a rental car that's like, what are you doing, dude? Right? It feels like my mom's right next to me, just going, hey, hey, right there. Like, I'm offended. I paid for this rental car. If I want to weave it, let me weave it. It's so rude. It keeps beeping. It's one of those rental cars. I don't even know what it's beeping about. Just beep. Beep. And I'm like, what's happening? And they're like, you're driving. Just letting you know you're driving. Just intermittent beeps. Not a fan of any of it. I don't own a car. We are thinking of buying one. We live in New York City, so you get away without having a car, but we're thinking of buying one. Just one. My wife and I are going to share a car, so we're trying to compromise on a car, which means neither of us are going to get what we want. That's what happens when you and your wife compromise on something. You're like, both of us are going to be kind of sad at whatever we pick. No one's going to be pumped with whatever we get. We want two very different cars. I want a Toyota 4Runner. I think those are cool. I grew up in Southern California, and that's a very Southern California car, and I'm like, oh, I want one of those. And she wants like an Audi Q something. They're both SUVs. That's the only thing we have in common, is we want an SUV. And but we're gonna end up with a Mazda. That's what we're gonna end up with. We're gonna be sad in a Mazda, just going, yep, not you either, huh? This is fun for none of us, isn't it? This was the car we came together on and went, fine, give it. That's how you want to be excited about that. I don't know. It's been a fun week, though, in the news. That was good. I watched Trump's thing where the people fainted. Did you guys watch that? I don't know, because I watch it on Instagram, so I don't know if they messed with the footage, but was it that funny? Like, live? Because I was dying laughing. I was on the toilet this morning at my last hotel, howling. You know how people go LOL and they don't mean it? They mean, Like that. I was legitimately howling on the toilet. I was banging on the toilet paper like I was doing hammer fists. It was so funny. He's giving a speech and someone's like, we need a doctor. Ah, doctor over there. Give doctor. And then another guy fainted. All right, does anyone else want to faint? Like, he was so annoyed that people were fainting. Anyone else feeling woozy? Yep. And then they cut, and, and as they're like wheeling the first guy out, they're like, we love that man. We love that man. He said that, and I'm like, that's so... Because I've also performed when people have fainted, and I gotta be honest, Trump handled it so much better than me. So much better than me. He was like, how about some music? Let's put some music on. Let's have a soundtrack for the EMTs. And I loved it. He's like, how about some Pavarotti? Let's put on some opera tunes. And my favorite part wasn't even him. It was the poor woman that was on. I don't know who that lady is, But she looked very serious. She looked like she wanted to take this seriously. And he's like, all right, put on YMCA. And then she's like, why? Because she wants a cabinet spot. She wants, and you got to put, yeah, we were going to talk policy, but now we're doing Village People dances. I love it, man. I mean, it's all interesting. But it's weird, man. I was watching him, and that's our Albert Einstein. Like, you ever think about that? That's our guy. That's our Albert Einstein and Henry Ford into one. That's our guy. And I'm like, that's not good. That's our guy. That's our guy. Ah, damn it. You know? Like Albert Einstein was like, E equals MC squared, which I still don't know what any of that means. But people say it a lot, so it must be important. And then our guy's just like, here's an ugly truck. Come get into this hideous truck. It doesn't look done, the truck. It looked like Elon burst into the meeting where like the artist was still working with the clay, you know? And he was like, that's perfect. And he's like, oh, dude, we're making it. And then that guy's like, can you take my name off of it? Because I wasn't done shaving the clay. There was more, it was going to be more not this. He's like, that's it right there. Beautiful. Beautiful. Paint it? No. I want it to look like, I want it to resemble an old faucet. That's the kind of shine I'd like. Not a new faucet, old faucet, like that hotel where you keep your socks on. One of those faucets. He has a facelift, and it's not. He gave us all a good life lesson. If you're gonna get a facelift, you got to stay your weight. You can't get a facelift and then gain weight because those guys didn't account for that. They pulled it to where they thought you were going to hang out for the rest of your life, and then he added face to it. It's just so weird. His face is right here, but then there's more face. He looks like a 12-year-old kid who's wearing a Halloween mask, but the Halloween mask is for a 6-year-old. So it's just like, this part's all right, but then there's like way too much. We still see your old face. Where you can't. And he's got all the money, and that's what they gave him. So, you ever think of that? Like, he's got all of it, and they're like, "That's what they gave you?" And he's like, "Right." And everyone's like, "I guess. I don't know. I'm gonna fly to Turkey. I wouldn't. All right, don't." Oh. I remember one time I made fun of Elon, and they're like, oh, that's not fun. Don't make fun of him. And I'm like, I can't punch any higher than the richest man on the planet. I can't punch any higher than that. He's the best, you know. And what he does, whatever that is, I don't know. I can't explain it, but he's doing great. Yeah, it was an interesting week that I read that, because when I grew up, they always inspired me to read the news. I was told that. All my teachers, read the newspaper, you need to be informed. And I'm reading it, and they're like, I don't know if I misread the article, but apparently there's hillbillies attacking FEMA people because they think the government controls the weather. And I read that headline, and I'm like, maybe I don't need to read the news. Because usually when you read the news afterwards, you're like, now I know what's going on. And the more I read about that, the more I'm like, what? It felt like a friend explaining cryptocurrency to me, where I'm like, the more I'm reading, the less I understand. You should have just ended the headline with threatening FEMA workers. That's so funny. I just imagine FEMA workers, because I assume those people are like, you ever meet someone that did the Peace Corps? It's like someone that went to college, like, I'm going to go help. And then they got a job at FEMA, and then they're coming. Yeah, and they're showing up with paper towels and stuff. I assume paper towels because I remember Trump did that with the paper towels to the people in Puerto Rico. So they brought it, and then just some guy was like, you're controlling the weather. And he's like, what? No, I didn't finish college. That's all this is. I wanted to backpack in Europe, and then I ended up in the Peace Corps. And then now I have this job. What? control the weather. I still have student loan debt. I'm not a part of it. I have some paper towels. It's been a fun week. We all paid attention to it. Yeah. No, don't be upset. No, that's good. Please laugh, let it out. Oh, you can say that. Oh, because it's a clean show? It's fine. I think they've heard it. It'd be funny if someone left and be like, I didn't know that kind of language. This is going to be uttered by an audience member, let alone. It's funny because there's also different levels of clean. You know, I wasn't always a clean comedian, but I did a dry bar special, and then a bunch of people showed up, and that's when I started selling tickets. And they're like, we love clean comedy. And I'm like, I guess that's what I do. All right? Clean up these jokes. Because I've always been, I didn't, there's new comedians now that they just blow up. They've been doing it for 4 seconds, and then they're like, I am who I am, and I'm an artist. I'm not an artist, all right? I've been doing this for 18 years. I am whatever you hire me for, all right? I'm that guy off of Craigslist with an old work truck and some hammers in the back, and you're like, can you fix the roof? Yeah. I'll give it a shot. I don't know. That's me in comedy. If the comedy world changed tomorrow and they're like, we want filthy, I'd be like, let's go. All right? I can filthy it up. I've never said that out loud before, but... That's why I argue with the thing of because it is art. It's just because we don't have another word for this, so we call it art. But I just didn't want to work. That was it. I was willing to do this for no money as long as possible with the idea of one day I won't have to work. And I can say, that's my job, And that was the whole... That's why I have very hard feeling. I don't think comedians should be allowed to vote, quite honestly. I think everyone else should be allowed to. I don't think my people should be allowed to vote because we're not a part of society. We're not a part of it. And I get a say on we should do this with my tax dollars. You slept till noon. What are you talking about? You don't get to just come in and guess. I don't know. It's great. Don't get me wrong, but it's not real. I started doing comedy for a living, where I got to quit my day job. I think I was 28. So, and now I'm 37, so it's almost 10 years. It's 9 years. And I think that's when I stopped maturing as a human being, is 28. So I'm still, no matter how old I get, I'll always be 28. And I'm not saying that as a good thing. I'm saying that as life's gonna keep happening, and you're just gonna be that guy. Because that's my fear. That's my fear. I watch Kid Rock, and I'm like, that guy, he didn't grow as a person. Kid Rock's a great example of, Kid Rock's a great example of, that saying, never change. That could be horrible advice sometimes. Because that guy's been Kid Rock this entire time. Which is actually a credit to him. I mean that as a compliment to him. Do you know how hard it is to not grow as a person? Life keeps changing, and he was just no. He bought houses, went through divorces, signed mortgages, and he's fall with the bottom. We should study that guy. But I also have a fear that I could become him because I stopped becoming a person of society when I was 28. And I felt it when I went back. I went back home I flew back to San Diego, where I'm from, for my fantasy football draft. That's what I'm saving all these miles for, so I can fly back. And I hung out with my friends, and they're all my age. We went to high school together, but they're I've seen how much they've grown. They own boats. I don't own a boat. It seems like such an adult man thing to do. You're like, hey, have you seen my boat? And you're like, what? That's amazing. What kind of? Oh. When you know nothing about something, and you're like, oh. Is that the rudder? All right. Wow. I'll bring the beers, I guess. That's all I know about boats, is that you got to bring beers. Especially if it's not your boat. But I've noticed how much they've grown and changed. Like, I'm still, like, because I used to work with these guys. When we got out of high school, we were working at the same warehouse job, unloading trucks. And, but now they're like upper management. Like because that's what you do. You get in your late 30s, now you're in charge of stuff, and they hate the people below them. And I'm like, what happened? You guys we used to be the young guys going, oh, suck on it. You know, like, management right here, buddy. You know? And then now they're like, yeah, these guys want to raise over my dead body. And I'm like, what happened, fellas? We used to fight the man. And they're like, well, I got a mortgage now, so I got a budget. They're just yelling about the budget. It's nice to be here. Wow. Holy, I wasn't expecting that on a Wednesday, but there you are. That is a lot. I didn't realize where this table was going to be situated. This is weird. I feel like you guys are seated like judges at a boxing fight. That is incredible. What did those tickets cost? Were these cheaper than like the other ones? Like, listen, we have discounted seats, but you are going to be on the stage with him. I feel so uncomfortable. I'm sorry, I'm this close to you. I'm gonna hang out back here. I apologize. I feel like I disrupted a dinner. Like I came in like a lunatic came off the streets. And you're like, I'm so sorry. I'll stay back here. This is this is my first time here, and every time I'm like, this room's not gonna get weirder. And then I came up here and I'm like, it's weirder. I was in the back next to a koi pond for some reason. And I'm like, there's no way it's gonna be weirder on the stage. And it is. What is any of this? I feel like we're at a Mediterranean restaurant of some sort. And they got foreclosed on, and someone's like, leave everything. I'll just put a comedy club in there. This is good stonework. Those are real stones, by the way. That's not paper mache. You didn't get that at Home Depot. That's real. That's granite or something. Shallot. I don't know. That's not a stone, is it? Probably not. But yeah, it's very interesting. I don't know if anyone's first time here, but I'm guessing you were like me. You missed a turn. You definitely missed that turn. They're like, take a left, and you're like, no way. And you kept going, and then we all took that U-turn at that gas station, didn't we? And we're like, let's give that a second shake, huh? We drove in. I love it. Everything's been surprising, all of it. This is where it goes down. We're at the entertainment capital of Greensboro right now. We're right across from Arizona Pete's. I got here early. I still got out of my car. And I was like, I guess we're going to try. I guess. So everything's been unsettling, but welcoming, but also... I feel like that's what the South is like, you know? It's welcoming, but at the same time, you're like, I don't know. Are we at the right place? We're at the right place. All right. Just walk in and smile. Be polite. Yeah, I had a good. I'm staying at a hotel not far away, and it's one of those hotels where you can tell they're about to change the name. You know those? I stay at a lot of hotels, and I went into this one. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a Ramada soon. Next time I come back through, this will be a different establishment. It was one of those hotels. Like I went to work out at the gym, and they had mismatched weights. Like they were from half of it was from Gold's Gym, and the other half was from Planet Fitness. Like someone picked them up and was like, yeah, there you go. That's the gym. I've never seen that before. And I was like, all right. And the shower worked. Hot and cold worked. Medium was a problem. If you want it hot, you're getting hot, buddy. You want cold, ice cubes. But if you want middle, I heard like a gurgling, moaning sound come out of the... It sounded like the Titanic was trying to make a U-turn. And I'm like, is that me? And I turned the shower off. I'm like, that was me. I think I woke up the entire hotel to take a shower. But it's very nice to be here. I want to say this is my first time here, but I made that mistake last week. I was in Madison, Wisconsin, and I was like, so nice. I've never been to Madison. And two people were like, you were here last year. That's how much I travel. And I said, no, I wasn't. And they showed me a photo of me and them. And you could hit the info on your iPhone. It says Madison, Wisconsin. And I'm like, well, I'll be damned. All right, I guess I have been here. I don't believe I've been here, but I might have. I think I might have performed at a college here. Your last comic was talking about that when you go perform at a college. If it's the gig I remember, they had to get the sound system for my show out of a shed, and a student got stung by a bee. And that student came up to me and went like, you better be funny. I just got stung by a bee. And I was like, all right, pressure's on. And I didn't do well, I'll tell you that. It was during a lunch. I don't know if you know that. Like, they do comedy at colleges because they have entertainment budgets for no explicable reason. And they got to spend it. So they find out, you know about this. Yeah. And then so they just like, we'll hire this comedian. They have to use their budget. It's one of those things like, if you don't use your budget, you lose it. So you got to spend it. So they'll spend most of their budget on like one person they're pumped about. And then they got some leftover money. And they're like, that's where we come in. All right? That's where lower end comedians come in, and they're like, all right, you just get the sound system out of the shed. I've done some of my worst shows at colleges. The worst ones I've had, like Souls. Like if you were there, if I had footage of those shows, you'd be like, and you kept going? You didn't just quit? You just wow. And I was an adult while doing it. It's one thing if you're also their age and in the situation, but I was an adult man. I was in my 30s, and I was just in a cafeteria with two students, and then, true story, two students further away than you guys. I will say that, like, in the middle, and then I had to be like, right, and then, you know when, like, an 18-year-old makes eye contact with you, you're like, how dare you judge me, you know? I wanted to grab him like, this is how I pay my rent, you know? Like, I wanted to give him a little throttling, but you can't do that. Yeah, you can't do that. It's against the rules. Do you work at a college? Is that what it is? You've been through a lot of universities. Okay. I don't know what you just meant by that. Does that mean you attended as a student and then you have a lot of degrees? You could have just said that. Like we could have. Yeah, no, it ended up being fun. But you're like, I've been through. I don't know how you meant it because I've been through a lot of universities too, and I've left a lot of skin behind. Mainly pieces of my heart, little pieces of my heart have been left there. Oh, don't get sad. We made it. We made it. Now we're here. We're here. We're sold out on a Wednesday across from Arizona Pete's in this Mediterranean restaurant. That's why a lot of people tell me, they're like, oh, I can't wait till you're in theaters and maybe stadiums. I'm like, do you have any idea how long it took me to get here? All right. 18 years to get to this rock backdrop, all right? Long-ass time. If there's any shortcuts in show business, I don't know any of it. It's a good time for the bills to come. Once again, we plan that. I like the fan you have. That is so classy. Like a debutante. I love it. That's a Southern thing, right? A Southern belle. A debutante. All right. I said it out loud. You're like, yes. All right. I will say, people in the South do have a good way of making people from out of town feel dumb. I will say that. It's the stare. You guys have a very magical stare where you go, like, you know what it is? you cock your eyebrow a millimeter higher than where it was before, and the other person goes, I'll just throw myself off a cliff. I apologize. Even when I checked in at the hotel, they're like, oh, I got your room on the second floor. And I'm like, oh, do you have anything on the first? And she's like, and I was like, second floor's great, you know? I like a little vantage point. Get me ready for this stage I'm performing on tonight. I'm up here on the second floor, looking at everyone at the pool deck. You made it to the end. I'm so proud of you. You know, I look at the statistics. A lot of people watch like halfway through or 3/4 of the way through, but not you. You watched the whole thing. Bravo. Thank you. You know what else you can do for me? You can hit like, you can hit subscribe, but more importantly than all of that, you can go to my website, zoltancomedy.com, and see if I'm performing in a town near you, and then come see me live. Everything's better than live. Reggae, jazz, poetry. Good Lord. Come see me live.